Um, Again, my name is Zachary Lewis. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Liquid Compass. I want to invite my panel up here. I don't know exactly where everybody is, but Lisa, why don't you come up? Lisa is from AOL, and Lisa is the director of web operations and executive producer. Or excuse me, that's Willie's bio.
My title does change a lot.
It does, yeah. Lisa's the VP of Nullsoft and general manager of AOL Radio, Shoutcast, and AOL Music. These properties include over 200 professionally curated music radio stations and 6 websites. She is responsible for the business's day-to-day operations, including product development and strategic partnerships. Most recently, she spearheaded a new partnership between AOL Radio and Slacker Radio, which will launch next month. Prior to joining AOL, Namro was a terrestrial radio veteran holding several positions over 8 years with Saga Communications. Brian LeCamp and Willie Sanchez, are you here? Come on up. You're the next contestant. Brian is the executive vice president of Clear Channel Digital, the division which oversees iHeart Radio, Clear Channel's free, industry-leading digital radio product that offers more than 800 broadcast radio stations and digital-only stations from 150 cities. Brian joined Clear Channel Digital from Premier Radio Networks, where he served as executive vice president of digital media, and his responsibility was overseeing and operating Premier's digital division. Brian was a driving force behind MovieLink, one of the first platforms to offer viewing of feature films over the internet, and as an entrepreneur and founder of Key Executive and multiple startups. Willie, say hi.
Hello.
Willie is the director of web operations and executive producer for Fox News Radio, their talk division. He is responsible for the day-to-day operations of their websites, live streams, premium and free podcasts, mobile applications, and currently leads new business and digital initiatives. I did a pretty good job reading, so welcome everybody. Radio has provided the soundtrack for our lives for generations. From the big band sound to the British invasions, thousands of stations all across the country kept us entertained and informed. 10 years ago, when Lifehouse was topping the Billboard charts with their hit Hanging by a Moment, the market was undergoing the start of a significant shift. The year was 2001, the year Steve Jobs introduced us to the iPod, and Liquid Compass pioneered one of the first streaming solutions for radio broadcasters in the United States to help radio continue to be the soundtrack and news source in our community voice. Today, we're going to learn, about innovations in streaming media technology from key industry leaders that are driving the way people consume audio and video media online. Up first, I'm going to talk about ourselves a little bit. This is not a product pitch for any of us, but we're trying to showcase a little bit about what we're doing to drive the industry. This is Liquid Compass's LC Pro 2.0 Ultra Enhanced Desktop Media Player. Today we're going to talk about ultra enhancements, mega players, hyper players, players with a lot more features and functionality than what we saw 10 years ago. Today's player, you will see an array of options with the ability to switch between full player mode and a stick player mode, live and on-demand streaming, station talkback to give listeners the ability to communicate with broadcasters, song request, time seek to give listeners the ability to go back in time and hear content that they previously heard, historical song seek, so if you're listening right now but you want to hear that song that just played again, to be able to skip back to that song. Track history, concert information, Kenny Chesney's playing. I want to know where he's also going to be seen. That information is listed to include lyrics, social media integration, send to mobile so you can listen directly on your mobile device when you leave the office, song history, station search, and video on demand. Clear Channel recently launched their overhauled iHeart Radio. I'll go ahead and talk about the features since you guys can't see them very well, and then we can get into.
Right.
Okay. Some of iHeartRadio's features is real radio and custom stations that are fully integrated. Over 800 real radio stations from 150 markets, 10 times more songs than Pandora, is that right?
That's right.
More user control, better music intelligence, and advanced social features. It's a pretty cool player. And when did that go live?
That went live last Thursday.
That's awesome. Fox News Radio. Fox News is doing a lot of cool stuff on in the podcasting department. Some of their features include podcasts of Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox News Talk Radio Show. They also have social media integration, live and on-demand audio feeds, and premium subscribers can add the podcast to their iTunes or other podcast software, or access online and listen in your pop-up player. Premium members also have the option to download an MP3 file. And last but not least, AOL Radio, which you're coming out with a new product,
You can show them that again.
a battle against Clear Channel.
Erase everyone's minds when they walk out the door. No one else has seen this. but you.
Everybody forget this because it's coming soon. But it's new and improved. AOL Radio is now powered by Slacker. 200 plus professionally curated music radio stations by AOL music directors, new stations, ABC News, ESPN Radio, and various other artist stations, new personalized radio, that's pretty cool, and ultimate options versus single artist, less audio commercials and more music, 50% less commercials, that's cool. New ability to bookmark or ban songs features, also new, is mobile apps for Android, iPhone, and iPad. Premium products, 2 new premium products, Radio Plus and ad-free and premium radio. All a lot of great content. So I'll stop reading and we can open it up to questions, because I think people here want to learn specifically about your creative minds and how you're coming up with the products that you're building. So, Brian, I want to open up the first question to you. Is that iHeartRadio, your desktop media player, has become the backbone for Clear Channel, your stations to reach listeners on and offline. Can you describe a little bit of your thought process behind the development of this mega player? It's a beast. And more specifically, how you determined to come up with the products and different features?
Sure. I would say first and foremost, we're centrally focused on the consumer and consumer expectations and knocking it out of the park for consumers. And so for the past several years, we've provided access to hundreds of our stations from across the country, which has been a feature that I've loved recently because I've been traveling quite a bit between New York and LA. And one of the things, consumer expectations evolve, and we've definitely taken note in the marketplace of the expectations around custom radio and the success that has existed there. And so we're really proud to announce that we've integrated that in a fully integrated fashion into our player. We're really excited about how clean it is and how compelling a consumer proposition it is. I hope everybody here has tried it out and played around with it. We think that what we're really doing is innovating in modern times, making it fiercely social, and social is a core part of our experience. Taking advantage of the full scale of library that we can of the 10 million songs that you referenced, and innovating with tools on that to allow users to take control of that 10 million deep library in a meaningful way.
So talk a little bit about continuity. So continuity between your desktop and mobile. Do you consider that when you're developing the new iHeartRadio experience?
Absolutely, you have to. So the notion of your experience on web and mobile are absolutely integrated. If you have stations on one, favorite stations on one, they're present on the other. Your activity on one feeds the other.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, same question for you. Can you give us your insight into the creative minds at AOL that helped conceive the features and enhancements of this new product for you?
Well, we've had a lot of experience over the years with different players. Our current player right now, which we're partnered with CBS, we've had a lot of learnings through that. We did a lot of UI changes, and we've also gotten a lot of feedback. And talking about the consumer, one thing that we feel is our secret sauce, which has been our secret sauce over the years, is that we really listen to the consumers. And everyone on my team, on the radio team, reads feedback every single day. And when the guy who reads the feedback and does the responding is out, I or someone else on the team responds, because it's really important for us to take what they say and really apply it to the player. And that has been really dramatic for us. So we've seen when people don't like things, and obviously we change them in next iterations. But taking that consumer feedback, and then also having players that are actually providing data for us, so we can see, obviously along with the feedback, we can see what people are doing. Are they skipping? Are they clicking on artist buttons? Are they clicking on related station buttons? Is that a waste of our space? What should we be using the space for? Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of really those two things, and then obviously our learnings over the years.
All right, so I want to put both you and Brian on the spot, because you both have mega players. Did I hear? When you are thinking about launching both of your mega player experiences, what are you taking from your own creative departments, and how much effort goes into seeing what the competitors have on their player? And so how do you determine what you want to keep on yours and what's unique about yours to differentiate yourselves?
Well, we don't really necessarily, of course we look at our competitors' players, but that really doesn't play into what our decisions are, because our decisions are based on user feedback and data. The other thing that we're lucky to have, AOL Radio is obviously part of AOL, and so AOL Music is our sister in, which I also work on, and so we have all of that AOL Music content that we're also driving through the player at all times. So you could see on the player mock, if you scroll down on the right rail, we have real-time music news that's always scrolling through the player at all times. Yeah. So that's another piece that we've added, and we'll continue to add different relative pieces from AOL Music throughout the player.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I would say that it's really 50-50 listening to consumers and what they have to say and responding thoughtfully, and at the same time taking the knowledge and understanding that you have about the space to innovate and take consumers to new places that delight and excite them, and really create experiences that that are amazing.
Willie, I don't want to leave you out. In addition to, sorry about that. In addition to providing, let me get to yours here, live streaming for your listeners, you also feature premium podcast content. So you opted to move from a free scenario to a paid scenario. Can you describe some of the benefits of becoming a premium subscriber of Fox News Radio, and also how you made that determination to go from free to paid?
Well, for us, it's pretty straightforward with the podcast. It's a convenience play for us and the consumer. We remove the commercials and take a 3-hour program, basically, and make it available to them as an hour and 50-minute program. So a lot of the people who listen to our shows, who do write in, talk about the fact that they're out walking their dog or running or doing something that the time savings is really important to them, or they're on the bus on a commute. So it's pretty straightforward for us with the podcast. It's just a convenience play. We strip the commercials and make it available to you on multiple platforms. While we do have it on our site and our own player, we know it's pretty important to be where people want to consume their content. So it's available to them as an RSS feed within iTunes and Zune, anything that will consume an RSS feed, but also increasingly, which was a surprise to us, was the mobile phone when we first started out, and how unprepared the mobile phones were for these types of feeds. Mm-hmm. So we had to come up with different ways to make it available to them, but also support other applications and recommend other applications that will play well with our content. I've been really lucky that we've been given the permission to experiment and try. When we first started this out, we had free podcasts, and we're a broadcast entity, so all we know is the advertising play. So when we pitched the idea to come up with premium podcasts, and well, how are we going to collect that money from the consumer, and how are we going to support the consumer when they have a problem? They gave us the go-ahead anyway to try it out. We figured it out as we went along. And the consumers will kind of help dictate what the features are, where they want to listen to it, and we'll just listen to their feedback and make a decision whether we want to support an application or not.
Do you have an idea of what the percentage is of your listeners that have subscribed to your premium podcasts?
It's hard to say. We don't know how many of the people who are listening live at a certain point of the day are also subscribers. But we can say that we are pleasantly surprised and pleased with the number of subscribers that we have, and it continues to grow. As long as you add more compelling content, which is really important, they will come and they will buy. So added the addition of, we started out with Fox News Talk programs, and adding the Fox News Channel and Fox Business programs, which is really important to this, really help grow the offerings.
So you're saying you're making money?
I'm not saying we're not losing money on this necessarily.
Good response. Brian, Clear Channel, you recently launched your new overhauled player experience that's touted to rival Pandora. That's a pretty big statement. Can you give us any insight into what we can expect from this new mega player?
Well, first I'd just say that we're excited about having launched just last week. So, you might well imagine, there is quite an extensive roadmap of possibilities and quite an extensive set of things that we want to do. And in sort of aggregate, I would say that you should expect from us that the offering and the direction that we head will be fiercely social in nature, and it'll be highly geared towards putting that consumer experience everywhere that consumers expect it and might want to see that content. So devices, platforms, and partners. We spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah. Lisa, I hate to ask you the same question, but you're launching a new mega product as well, and getting ready to pull a rabbit out of AOL's hat, or your hat, I guess. So what can you tell us about this new experience?
So, one of the things we're really excited about is we're going to have 50% less audio commercials. We're going to have 50% less audio commercials. We're actually really excited about that. That's going to be a huge deal for us. So then in addition to that, the other cool things that we have is, we're going to have custom stations, which we have today, but what we have today is only for one artist. We're going to have multiple artist custom stations, so you can put in 50 different artists. So you could build, a Sinead O'Connor Slayer station if you want. And it will work. I tried it to make sure. Yeah. And so we're really excited about that. And so there'll be 2 tiers of radio. So there'll be a plus version, which will be ad-free radio plus free lyrics, full lyrics, and unlimited skipping. And then the second tier will be the premium tier, which is more of an on-demand play. So now they get everything that they get with Plus, but then they get on-demand, which will be amazing. So they'll be able to listen to whatever artists, albums, songs they want at any time on demand. They'll be able to create playlists or create stations. And with those premium services, they'll be able to cache their stations or their playlists and take it with them anywhere without being connected. So we're really excited about those features. Those are really the things that we're focused on.
So you get into a boxing ring, your mega players on one end, Clear Channel's mega players on the other end. Who wins? Just kidding. Panel, this is a question for you. Willie, maybe you can start off with our responses. 10 years ago, it was hard to believe that we would be able to access live and on-demand streams from our favorite stations from both desktop and mobile devices, in addition to having a multitude of social media options just right at your fingers. If you look into your crystal ball, what will different media player technologies or enhancements look like from your perspective, companies' point of views, in the next 5 years or even 2 years?
Beyond tomorrow, my crystal ball is cloudy. Really can't tell you. I can't tell you what I'm doing this weekend. That's why my wife puts a calendar up on the kitchen so I can see. But I think we've talked a lot about it already, the mobile aspect of things and improving the it's going to get better. Get access to the big problem with mobile is the broadband access and having a good experience while you're on the road. Everybody sitting at home in the office has a pretty decent experience with their mobile phone because they're on Wi-Fi for the most part. But once they walk out, it's a pretty crappy experience. So I think down the road, we're going to see that the mobile broadband is going to get better, which is going to allow for, just like broadband in the home allowed for services like Netflix to come about, broadband getting better out on the road and being consistent is going to allow for more of our products and services to get better and be more enhanced for the user, including video. Even though we're radio, video is a pretty important aspect of what users want to.
So you are, Fox News Radio, are you already starting to think about new auto integration and home entertainment integration?
We're certainly having those discussions now, especially the auto. But
Yeah.
you know, I just as a test, we recently did live anchored coverage, and I listened to it on my mobile phone through Bluetooth in my car.
Yeah.
But once I started driving, it would drop down, come back up. So,
Hmm.
in order for those things and for internet radio in the car to be great, the backbone, the infrastructure has to be there to support us.
Yeah. 2 years out, Brian, what do you see, or 5 years out?
Man, that's a long way out.
I know.
You know, I mean, if you went back just even a couple years ago and thought about the ways that consumers are now engaging with content and the way that they're behaving with one another on social networks, tweeting this, posting that on Facebook, you know, the way that they're streaming from mobiles, it's pretty mind-boggling. So it's hard to say more than 2 years out. You know, I would say that what we're really going to do is be where consumers want us to be. And if that means, you know, if consumers decide that they're going to vote and put, you know, chips in their brain to beam content directly to them, we'll be there.
No comment. Lisa, what about you? Are you
Well,
already starting to work on your product 2 years out?
Oh, we're done.
You're done. That's good. Brian, you got some catching up to do.
I just didn't bring those slides. No, I really think that, you know, being able, if there's a media player out there that can leverage all the different music properties that are out there so people can get what they like when they like it, because I think right now people like multiple music products. I know people that like AOL Radio, and I know people that like Pandora, and if there was a way for them to kind of get both experiences or do one or the other without having to change players, I think that that might be a good next step. And I know that Winamp, I have to say owned by AOL, Winamp is actually doing something similar right now, whereas they have an app store, and in their app store they have AOL Radio in there, they have Shoutcast in there, they're talking to other music properties. So if you're a Winamp user, you already have, you know, a handful of your hopefully favorite music properties right in your Winamp client experience. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that in the future as well.
The codecs, do you think that's going to be changing? I mean, we saw an evolution from Windows Media Player to Silverlight to MP3 to AAC Plus. What's the flavor going forward?
It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, in that whatever the user and the platform they're on, we're going to have it. I mean, we have most of those anyway, and we support them all. So if there's another one that comes out that, you know, costs less, bandwidth-wise, we'll use it as long as there's a product out there that will support it and put our stream on there.
Yeah. Opening it up to the audience now, these are the titans that are driving technology moving forward. So I think that if you want to ask them on any question on product roadmaps or how they come up with media players or whatever. Lisa, about her boots. Pretty cool boots.
Lisa, this question is for you. Wondering about the roadmap for Shoutcast.
We actually have a lot of exciting things going on with Shoutcast. We've tripled our dev team in the past 3 months. So I can't really give away the secrets that we're working on, but we actually have a roadmap. And it's a pretty robust roadmap. So you'll see, the first thing you'll see is updated APIs. So we have a robust API partnership. We have about 90 partners, everyone from Sony to Panasonic to Samsung, who use our APIs to put Shoutcast into their different devices. And so we are working right now to release the next set of premium APIs. So you'll see those. So it'll be a much more robust search experience and a now playing experience that you haven't seen before. That's all I can tell you.
Quick question for all the panelists. What's hot and what's not? Based on server stats, any surprises as to the content that people are really turned on to now, and what surprises you that the dogs don't want to eat?
Who wants to start?
I can just answer really quickly. I hate to say it, but country is still really hot for us. It's always been a top 3 station, and it continues to be.
I mean, obvious answer, hits. I mean, that hits are the hits, and those play well.
What's hot for Fox News?
Same thing, the hits. I mean, it's the big names. It's the Bill O'Reillys, and at the time it was Glenn Beck and all
Yeah.
those shows.
think that about does it. We got one more question.
My question would
Yeah.
be, where are you guys looking for new content that's not just music? You're not looking for content?
Well, we are looking for content, but what specifically are you asking about? Like news content or?
Well, I mean, I would say Fox would be looking for more news content, just programming content.
I mean, we're always open to adding new content. I mean, we have third-party partners. KCRW is a partner of ours, and so we have 3 of their streams. We have their news, we have their live stream, and we have their music stream. And in the past, we've had other partners, which has been NPR. And with the new player that we're launching in the next month, we're going to have ABC News. That will be some new content that we're really excited about, and as well as ESPN News. So we're always looking for new content, always open to new discussions. People reach out to me all the time, and we talk about it and see what kind of appetite there would be from the audience.
We're not looking to do music. We're not adding music.
But why?
I want to
It
thank
costs too much.
everybody for listening. Willie, Brian, Lisa, thanks for joining me today. Cheers.